Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Growth with Tacos. I'm Jason, Pierce, and today we have Amanda Rome West joining us. She is a Jewish rapper and music producer out in Los Angeles. So what's up?
Honestly, not much. Just the debate. Vote for Biden, everyone, just so you know. And yeah, I mean, we're just here in LA, just chilling in Hollywood, living our best lives, and being Westies.
All right. So before, because we can totally go over all of that if you want. But before, tell me about, I guess, how you became a rapper, and why I guess you also decided to become a Jewish rapper. That's how you're presenting yourself and what most of your lyrics tend to be about, which I think is a pretty cool, cultural. Oh wow, my camera's really moving. A cool cultural thing. What got you on that path?
That's a really good question. Thank you so much for asking, Paris. Honestly, I got into rap. This is kind of a crazy story, but I got into rap because my friend at the time was producing music for Sierra and Bozzy, and we went to USC together, and he said, Amanda, why don't you just become a rapper? You should just go for it. You have this huge following. You vlog. You have this big Snapchat show. Just go into rap. And he said it it was so simple. It was just work. Just do it. And I was like, it doesn't work exactly like that. That's not exactly how it works. But he taught me how to rap. One of my really good friends, Dallas Caton, and my first manager, who was my other good friend, Luke Allwine. And they gave me the confidence to rap. We shot my first music video on all these rooftops in downtown LA and all these crazy places and did a lot of crazy stuff. And that really got me going. So after that, I got on my first MTV show that I was on, which was Dying to be Cardi B, True Life. And that was really interesting because I met 90s rapper Paperboy, who took me on as a mentor to me. And he actually helped me write one of my first songs, ARW. So that really just kind of started my rap career. And I decided from then on, I was going to manage myself. I was going to play the Viper Room. I was going to do Coachella. I was going to do the Mint. I was going to do the Dime. I was going to do all the best shows in LA and up and down California. And I did. And I've been doing that, obviously till quarantine. But I just decided, you know what? I just need to dive into music videos, dive into live performing, dive into the makeup, hair, vlogging, YouTube, Snapchat world, and just make more stuff. And my followers have grown and grown, and now I'm almost at 25,000 followers. Just across the board, people have given me so much support. People have given me so much love from just doing what I do best, which is motivating people, making people feel inspired, and really being proud of my culture. You did make a good point about my rapping a lot about my Jewish heritage. My family's 100% Ashkenazi, Russian Jewish, and Polish. Shout out Ashkenazi, my album that I just dropped. About that.
Really good album, by the way.
A monologue here, but basically, what Jason said. I rap, and I also produce for TV, film, animated series, music videos, just podcasts, a lot of different stuff. And I've been working on a lot of exciting stuff during quarantine with all that. So just really taking it, as it comes and making it happen for myself. And I'm just so blessed to have my fans, the Westies, who have supported me since day one. I've had fans since I was about 14 when I started my career, of being a personality and an influencer, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
And, before rap, these people have stuck with me. And after rap, they've stuck with me. And, I'm just excited to be rebranding, launching my new site soon, launching new merch, and just taking it a whole new level.
All right, that is very cool. One of the things I've always noticed about anyone, first off, props to you for pursuing your passion. I don't think enough people do that. I think enough people defeat themselves along the way. There's enough things about the world that'll defeat you. Don't do it to yourself.
Hey,
so props to you. Yeah, props to you for that. But one thing I've noticed, even if it's something, say, as I want to say simple, easy to understand, as being a musician or a Instagram influencer or whatever, you're basically starting your own business. That's really what you're doing. You are an entrepreneur of sorts. So my background, So my background, which is generally in government or technology, there's not, quite frankly, a lot of overlap, I would say, with the music and arts, right? Now, fortunately, tech is in California. It's just on the northern half of, Hollywood and whatnot in the southern half. But like my dad, my parents are all from Southern California, right? So like, I got family down in Covina and Pasadena right now.
Awesome.
So like I definitely am not from the Southern California area, but I've spent enough time there to like pick up a few new things. It's a great a great place for most people. But anyway, yeah, like yeah. So like you as an entrepreneur though, like it's a really cool thing, and it's really cool to see like when I want to say my backgrounds and your backgrounds intersect. It's a really cool thing, and here you wound up on our show. So thank you again for being our guest.
Thank you for having me. Where are you from, by the way?
Oh boy, California and Utah, I suppose, is where I would say that I'm from. I currently live in New York, Rochester, New York.
Okay, I'm from DC. I'm from Bethesda, Maryland, right next to there.
All right.
Shout out to the Jews. Rochester, I see ya.
Yeah.
Got you. That's locked in. We're here.
Yep. I lived outside DC for a couple years as well. I was
really?
stationed up. So Fort Meade.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
The closest I ever got to DC was Philadelphia. So.
Oh my God, that's.
I like Philly.
I like the cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, shout out to my fans who are in the comments.
Am I the only one eating tacos, by the way?
I'm not with Mark. Does that count as like? Go Tuesday, Taco Wednesday.
Taco Wednesday. Yeah, I thought about like doing this on Tuesdays because it was like Taco Tuesdays, right? But I think we decided collectively to do it Wednesday.
Yeah, it's a Wednesday thing. Plus, LeBron James is trying to trademark Taco Tuesday right now, so he could sue us if we.
Can you do that?
Oh, please, he cannot do that.
Can you trademark Taco Tuesday?
So you can't actually trademark things in popular lexicon. In fact, if your trademark enters the popular lexicon in relation to things that aren't your trademark, then you lose your trademark.
Oh.
Yeah, that's something I know. You know what? Actually, I guess we can do this. The Velcro ad. So Velcro made a hilarious ad. I might as well just pop it up right now because this is worth a couple minutes of this. Velcro, because like, yeah, so to you and I, it's called Velcro, right? But like, chances are, unless it's Velcro brand, then it's just hook and loop or whatever, So like, Kleenex is tissue, right? Yeah, hook and loop is what it's like. The material is Velcro is the brand, right? So like, Kleenex is tissue and Jello is gelatin, right? Like, there's tons and tons of these different things. But yeah, let me actually see if I can share my screen because this video is hilarious now that I've already said.
By the way, shout out to Sue and Lexi and all the people in the comments. Westy gang, what's up? My bra is Velcro. Interesting.
Yeah, this is funny.
So successful everywhere you go. You see the scratchy, hairy fastener, and you say, "Hey, that's Velcro." Well, even though we invented this stuff, our patent lapsed 40 years ago. Now, no matter who else makes it, you still want to call it Velcro. You think it's awesome for us, we're famous, but we're lawyers and it's causing us grief. Cause there are trademark laws being broken. It's all here in this short legal brief. And we know that this is confusing, because Velcro brand is who we are. What if you call all Velcro? We're gonna lose our circle. This is for hook and loop. This one's a hook, this one's a loop. You call it Velcro, but we're begging you. This is hook and loop. We know this seems ridiculous. This is the first world situation. And we made $500 million last year. I went to turn for my last vacation. And we're asking you not to say your name. We took 60 plus years to build. But if you keep calling these Velcro shoes, our trademark will get killed. Yeah. We aren't just doing this for.
All right, so you guys get the idea.
So was this like a serious commercial, or was this like a
like that was an actual commercial that they made.
Wow. Wow.
That's almost
So there's
as
your-
creepy as that.
there's your random trademark.
I
Yeah.
tried to trademark Thug Jew Bitch, and my lawyer said I couldn't. But I trademarked Get Back to Twerk. That's my phrase.
Okay.
That's my phrase, motherfucker. That's me.
So what do you use it for?
My song, my merchandise,
Okay.
brand, you know.
Okay.
So Sue's listening to
You
Sleepy
think
Time right now.
Sleepy Time, you like it. Proud to see a woman rapper. Girl, check my new
Yeah.
video out. I always win. Shameless plug. Everyone check it out on YouTube and all platforms.
I highly recommend Jewish Shit, by the way, with my boy Lucas Roth.
My Jewish shit. Mazel tov, bitch. I'm good at counting money and my people are good at getting rich. Let's go. We're here to party.
I heard that one. It's got a few clever lines. So full endorsement from Jason.
So I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah, you seem like you've got a bit of wit about you. So first thing you did when you came on was like vote for Joe Biden. Right? That was basically like the first thing you said. Why should I do that? I guess I'm just poking your buttons right now.
So no, I guess you're just poking my buttons right now. But like, in all seriousness, right? Like the debate's going on right now. You know, people tell me I'm an influential figure. You know, I have millions of views, probably billions now, and I've just affected so many people in the like ghetto Jewish rap way, in quotes. But I don't just want to be like that. I want to be a true icon who can advocate for politics and who has something to say. I have my business administration and film degrees from the University of Southern California. And I was in one of the most competitive programs at the school, Business Cinematic Arts. And I have my diploma to prove it. And I just feel like I was put on this earth to inspire people. And if I have this intelligence and I have these looks that I can use to get people's attention online and to do videos and stuff, why not use it for good and get people to rally against Donald Trump? You know, just here at my apartment at the hotel across the street right now, I see they're waving a Trump/Pence flag, you know, and that makes me upset because not enough places will publicly say, oh, we associate with Joe Biden, because they don't want these angry Karens and whatever the male version of Karen is, Kevin's, getting
Sure.
about taking the Biden sign down, because the people who support Trump are just ridiculous. And I'm like, we have to combat these people, because if you support Trump, you support anti-Semitism, you support racism, and most importantly and most unfortunately, you support the rich eating the poor. So that's just, I think that we have to totally just completely revamp our society, and Joe Biden's the only person who can do that. You know, as I said with Jason on my podcast, ARW Raw, which is on Spotify and Apple, we talked a lot about this, that Joe Biden is like the only good candidate. Like, you can vote for Kanye if you want. You can vote for the Green Party. You can write in, but that's not going to do anything. It's just going to take votes away from Biden, which means Trump's going to be president. So if you want to not have Trump as president, anyone else is better. Believe me. Anyone. I'm not a Joe Biden fan either, but that's better than Trump. So I'm here for it.
Right. You can be honest about it.
Yeah.
So you actually just hit on like a passionate, I guess, hot button issue of my own. The whole logic of third party being spoiler votes and taking away votes.
Yeah. But
yes.
It's like these people want to do it for the laws. They want to TikTok it or whatever. And it's like, it's not funny. You're taking the votes away from our country. So that probably, let's say Pence is president because Trump dies from COVID. Women can't have abortions. Women are paid less, way less than men. They're already paid less than men, way less than men. You know, black people are just shot in the street and no one bats an eye. You know, it's just, it's sad to see. And I think it's only going to get worse if we don't make sure that Biden's president.
Unfortunately, I agree that things seem to be getting worse. You know, the reality TV star that we have right now is exacerbating the conflicts, in part because the media is all up his bum. You know, like whether he does something good or bad, like the story is Trump all the time, and we just eat it up, and it just really polarizes ourselves when we have this thing that people have very passionate opinions about on one side or the other. I've actually met a lot of Trump supporters that aren't anything negative that you said, but they simply just think that he's a lesser evil than.
But everyone who says that, they're just like looking at the quote unquote economical side of things, the economic side of things, right? They're like,
it could be that, or it could be something else. It's whatever's important to them, ultimately, right?
Like, in my opinion, I don't really care what he does that's quote unquote good, because if he's going to hate so much of what makes up me as a woman and as a Jewish person, I just couldn't stand by that. And I know so many Jews and so many Black people and so many Chinese people, the list goes on and on of like all these minorities who do support Trump for the exact reasons you're saying. They defend it with saying, this policy is great for our country, blah, 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 trade laws. That doesn't make up for the fact that he's a piece of fucking shit.
And so that is the thing that you and I will 100% agree on, and why I could never bring myself to vote for the man. I believe that the number one criteria of the president is to be of good moral character. And
he should be like an example for people. Like, it really fucking pisses me off that they use Joe Biden as an example of like a weak person who's like old and falling over and can't talk. It's like he has a stutter because that's a medical disability he has, and you should be respecting him for getting up there and being able to speak so eloquently despite his disability.
It's like that movie, The King's Speech. He's like overcome a lot to be able to speak publicly and everything. From what he came from. So but like the one thing I love, I don't really like love. What I totally forgot where I was going, so I'll let you two take over.
Personally, I was just gonna say that like I feel the stutter reason. I'll give it reason. I'll feel it's being exaggerated. So most people don't notice, but I myself have, I want to say, a mild stutter. So like I actually feel it's a very, very mild stutter. But like most things, it's a spectrum, right?
Yeah.
So I would say like I actually pay a lot of attention to Biden when he does do it, because it's something that I'm consciously always trying to like override myself. So I won't deny that the man does actually have a slight stutter, but I feel like it's kind of just basically saying, all right, binary, yes, man has stutter. And then they're trying to apply that to as if he has a bigger stutter and that's why he's talking the way he does, as if it has higher weight. I actually don't think like the stutter is the entire reason why he talks the way that he does. I think just fact of the matter is the dude's old. The dude is very, very, very old.
And let's admit, Trump is old too. You guys saw.
He is. Trump is the oldest president.
He was trying to pretend he was fine. He was there like clutching his chest, like coughing, and he's like, "Wear a mask. I don't give a shit." And you're like, "Okay, so you're gonna infect the whole White House?" And
I think he's pretty successfully infected the entire White House at this point. They're up to 4 different maids that have been infected, and a couple of butlers, and pretty much all of his, inner circle except for his children.
So soon my parents will have it because they're all in DC, and he's just going to spread it to everyone. Great. Dude, good to hear.
He's not like ground zero, but yeah, for sure.
He definitely is. Like, he's going to go to everywhere and just like cough on shit. Like, he doesn't care. Like, honestly,
the man is a narcissist. I'm just saying, like, he's not the first guy in DC to get it, But without a doubt, the man doesn't.
The first one I can remember kept contracting it. So
yeah.
The Westies better vote for Biden, or else I disown you, Westies.
So you mentioned, like, I guess going back to that, you mentioned how you feel like it's voting for a third party is stealing the vote, right?
Yes, and as someone with ADHD, I feel it's not just like my right, but like my duty to people to advocate for someone who actually has a disability, who actually has something quote unquote wrong with them, who will publicly go forward with saying, yes, I have a small disability, and own it and be a successful badass that they are. And that's why I love Biden so much. I can't say that I like how creepy he is with women. I can't say that I like a lot of racism allegations on his part. I mean, on him, like from the past.
Sure.
But I definitely think, he's a changed man. He's doing his best, and he recognizes that he and Kamala have to make it happen. Like, it's not a choice anymore. It's like an obligation. And like, I feel like my supporting this entire movement and my supporting us electing someone to get Trump out is the least I can do. And I hope that each and every person who has any influence, just like Jason, just like you, just like anyone who has, 5,000 followers, let's say, people looking at them, they need to be advocating for Joe Biden. And I'm not trying to bash people who like Trump. Like, I think it sounds like that, but like one of my best friends, one of my main music producers is a huge Trump supporter. And like my ex is a huge Trump supporter. And like, I've been in conversations with them in the past and present where, they have something to say about me not liking Trump and that I'm a weak person because I don't like Trump, blah, 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 blah. Who cares? I think that Trump is a bad person and he sets a bad example for the youth and everyone in America, If you're a young white kid and you're just like Trump and you see him behaving like this, are you going to behave like this? No, yes. Because you think, no, the president does it. So I can just make up lies and have no evidence. I can just belittle people. I can just rape women and not say anything about it or just admit to it or anything.
Yeah. And actually, I want to back up what you said. I do believe Biden's a changed man. I think you look at his history, I think it's quite clear that, especially growing up in, Eastern Shore in Delaware, if you're familiar with that area. Yeah, all right, the guy grew up a little bit racist.
With it. I used to go
yeah, no, I guess when I said if you, I meant our audience. I know you are.
If the audience is. Okay.
Yeah. You grow up in that area in, the 50s and 60s and 40s, and you're gonna be a bit racist, most likely. That's kind of just the the demographics of the area. But I think like today now, I genuinely think he's come around the curve on that, and I think he's too, I want to say, like out of touch to understand a lot of the issues. But I genuinely don't think the man has an ounce of malice or superiority based on race towards anyone or for anyone. I do think that he's come around the curve on that. I wanted to back up on that. We got a question from Sue. Do you believe in ranked choice voting?
What does that even mean?
Oh boy! All right. Jason.
Second, third choice?
Jason, teach our guest.
Oh, I think you'd be a lot more elegant at it. But essentially, ranked choice voting is where you see everyone on the ballot and you put them in the order that you would want to see them as president. And then you end up, when all the votes are cast and everything, you end up with a true majority because you're looking at who has the most votes in the top 3 spots. And that person who has the most overall in the top 3 would be the one elected.
So let's say you like Howie, whatever his name is, of the Green Party, all right? Like, let's just say you love the Green Party.
He actually has a name now? Damn.
I did forget his name. You could put him as number 1 and then say Biden as number 2. And if you, like, absolutely hate Trump, then you could put literally everybody else in between, right? Like, the end-up outcome is that if you don't end up wasting your vote or stealing your vote because you're not worried about voting for a winner, because no matter what, your vote is still going to get counted basically until there's just 2 people left, right?
I totally agree. Like, I definitely think that is a better system just because so many people vote for terrible choices just as a joke or like as for fun. But it'd be better if these people who vote as a joke or whatever literally just like had their ballots not even counted because they refused to do the ranking system, right? So like then only serious people are counted, and then the people can be surveyed of who they actually want first, second, third, fourth. Like Jason said, they combine it; it's a true majority. As someone who did Model United Nations for like 6 years of my life, I understand like majority voting and like that type of like ordered ranked choice voting, like in that sense. And I think it can spark a lot of disagreements because people can claim more like counting errors or more like mean errors and stuff like that.
So fortunately, there's no like any more risk to counting errors, I want to say, than normal voting. Maine is a state that has ranked choice voting for all their elections. The entire state of Maine has it. So we know that it can work. The people of Maine love it. In fact, actually, fun story, the establishment politicians in Maine tried to actually take it away, and the people of Maine, just basically revolted and put in a referendum to, like, protect it and make sure that ended up staying. Because the fact of the matter is they love it. Like, it's pretty much everyone agrees it's a way better method of voting than our current system, which is, vulnerable to the spoiler effect, as you mentioned, and first past the post voting and whatnot. The entire reason why
Rocky De La Flor Johnson would actually probably get more votes than Trump if we had ranked choice voting across the nation.
Yeah, I liked Gary Johnson. Even in the Republican primary. So like nowadays, there's a lot of Republicans that are only supporting Trump because they're more afraid of the other side. They actually don't like Trump, right? And then there's a lot of Republicans that have just totally bought the Kool-Aid and have gone for it, right? So to a large extent, especially in the establishment, the politicians that we've elected, Trump has molded the Republican Party to bend over to his will, all right? Like, I'm acknowledging that. But I want to say when he was running in 2015 and 2016, like, he was running up against other politicians, John Kasich, what am I trying to say? Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio. Yeah, right? Like, and these guys, they all got more votes combined than Trump did. Trump got less than half of the vote, but he still ended up with the nomination just because he got more than the next guy. So the rest of those politicians, they were all a little more similar to each other, I want to say, right? So they kind of like split the vote, as it were. And then Trump, well, there's only one Trump, right? For now, at least. I mean, so he got all of those. And even though it was less than half, he still ended up with the nomination, right? And like, I would say, does that actually reflect the will of the populace, of the voter?
Probably not, because right. Yeah, it definitely doesn't, because like you said, more of those similar politicians got more overall total votes combined. So if you had the ranked choice voting going on, yes, Trump would have had the most votes, but who would have been the second place to Trump would have been the main question, and that would have been your Republican nominee that probably would have got skunked by Hillary, or at least not disgraced the office to the point that it has been now.
Yeah. I wish we had it, man. So, yeah. Actually, I'll shout out right now. Massachusetts Proposition 2 right now is on your ballot to potentially institute ranked choice voting. So any of you out in Massachusetts, if what we just said sounds better than what we currently have, vote yes on Proposition 2.
Also, if you're here in Oklahoma and you happen to live on tribal land, they have ranked choice voting up for up for grabs on tribal land and everything. So you'll be able to ranked choice vote if you're a member of any of the Indian nations here in Oklahoma.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Where are you located right now?
But it's like, what was that?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Where are you located at the moment?
I'm currently
Rochester, New York.
City.
You're in Rochester. He's in
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma. Interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry,
trying to flip all I can blue here. Trying to get people to vote for Joe Biden as much as I can in this state, or at least vote for Kendra Horn and Abby Royals.
The reason why we need Biden is he'd actually help these people. He'd help all these communities.
Yeah, I think Biden would definitely be a much more of an improvement as far as uniting the nation and bringing it forward, because he's pretty in the middle of the road as far as a politician goes, and he wouldn't offend too many Republicans. So
West Windsor. You've got a fan, Amanda.
Lexi's one of my fans who I've become good friends with recently because she's also a Jewish queen. And I just think that we all have to support each other. We all have to hype each other up, just like we have to hype Biden up. We have to hype him up. And I'm so glad that the celebrities are taking this into their hands, and all of us who have a voice, all of us who have a cameo, all of us who have that blue check or whatever we have that we can use to give it to people, give people that opinion, People are looking up to their idols and the people that they see as their role model as the decision they're going to be making, Are you wearing this lip gloss? I'll buy this lip gloss. You're making this beanie? I'll buy this beanie. You're voting for Biden? I'll vote for Biden. You have to give them that sort of, I don't know, what's the word to use even? You just have to give them that sort of
you have to plant the seed and let it grow.
Yeah, exactly.
But, I think the most important thing is getting voter turnout more so than anything. You can plant the seed for Joe Biden all you want to, or whoever you support, but at the same time, just getting people to actually turn out and vote, because voting among people our age is so low as it is. And we've let the older generations run this country for so long that we have just archaic dinosaurs sitting in the Senate seats that they haven't given up for like 30 plus years, like Jim Hoffman here in Oklahoma, or there's like other old people too that are like just sitting there waiting to die in the Senate or in Congress, collecting $100 and something thousand a year to do nothing. And we've got to get these people out. We've got to get people our age in. We've got to get the David Kims and the Erica Rhodes into Congress, and change it to a younger mindset and a younger viewpoint, and just that way we can just have lives ourselves. So we can actually retire one day. I'm with the Kid with Horn campaign right now, and she had an economist come in on a Zoom call to talk to us and everything. He said that the last generation to retire was the generation that will be able to retire comfortably, was the generation that was born in the 70s. Everyone else that's depending on Social Security or retirement and everything like that is going to be up for a rude awakening that were born in the 80s afterwards.
Yeah, I'm not expecting a dime of Social Security.
Yeah.
Me neither. How could we?
Yeah.
With society right now, how could
that's why we have to change Congress. That's why we have to get people our age to go out and vote.
Jason needs to be in Congress because he will speak back for the people who are young, and he will advocate for the generation now.
Well, actually, rather than just talking about the what ifs, we could talk about someone that is running. Do you live anywhere near Koreatown?
I live in Hollywood, so kind of, yeah.
Kind of. Okay, I don't know if you're in California 34.
She's in Adam Schaaf's district.
All right. Well, yeah. California 34, which is Koreatown and a bit around it, has a candidate running named
Little Armenia.
Yeah.
And something else.
Anyway, David Kim. Remember this name, folks. David Kim is running, and he's running to unseat the incumbent. Right, the guy that's been there for a bit. And David Kim, according to an I Side With poll, so basically all the users that go to I Side With and say, hey, this is what I believe, who should I vote for, right? According to that polling, he has an 8 percentage point lead, which is basically unheard of for unseating incumbents, because like 90+% of incumbents get reelected.
Yeah.
So David Kim, it's the only poll we got, but now leading in the polls, our boy, endorsed by Andrew Yang and everything. And he's a younger person. I don't even agree with him on a lot. I actually took the I Side With thing or whatever, and I got less than half related to him. That being said, it was more than his opponent, for what it was worth. And I think we absolutely need that younger voice, more so than anything in Congress, as well as just the people that give a damn. Giving a damn should be a requisite, and far too many don't.
And what kills me about Jimmy Gomez is all the corporate PAC money he takes. This man's sitting back, he's taking dark money and everything from the DCCC. He's sitting back, he's taking money from the NRA, he's taking money from oil companies.
His opponents. Yeah.
He's a Democrat taking money from the NRA. That's like freaking unheard of unless you're a Southern Democrat. He's in California and he's taking money from the NRA. How screwed up is that? Adam Schaaf is taking money from the NRA too, which is bullshit. But
yes, that is screwed up.
But David Kim is running this grassroots. He's nothing but just private donors. He hasn't taken any money from any corporations or anything like that, or any organizations that aren't truly grassroots and who they say. He's researched people. He'll send their money back if it's someone he doesn't believe in. So I'm shocked he hasn't sent my money back, based on just me being an asshole. But he's he's just a fantastic candidate, and he's trying to unseat someone who's inherently evil, someone who's trying to prolong just this sitting there forever and collecting a paycheck and just doing the bare minimum to be elected, like Jimmy Gomez is. Plus he doesn't have plus David Kim his hair is all natural. He didn't get hair plugs paid for by some corporate donor.
That's so funny. Oh my god. Also, don't mind me. I have my rainbow earrings on, so I'm just trying to show everyone. Rainbows. We have rainbows. We need to vote for the people, and we need to get the people in the office who will actually vote for us.
We need to vote for the young people that are good for the young people, and we as young people ourselves need to just go out and freaking vote. Like literally, I don't care who the hell you're voting for. I would prefer you to vote for Joe Biden this election. And if you live in California 34, definitely vote for David Kim. If you live in Austin, Texas, vote for Donna. She's awesome. But, legitimately, I don't care who you vote for. Just get out and freaking vote.
Yep.
Make your voices heard. That way you can retire maybe one day. Maybe, someone can come in and, give you universal basic income. Shout out Andrew Yang.
Yang gang!
But,
universal income gang!
Hold up.
Yeah, we literally just need.
But that would be so beneficial for the artists of the world, and I love your hat, and people who want to help people, because let's say you want to help people, right? You want to start a charity, but you have no money, so you have to go and work at McDonald's or something. You can't help people through the charity because you don't have money, so you have to work, so you have to quit the charity job. You end up having to do that. The problem is, if they have universal basic income, they would have enough money to hopefully cover rent of a normally priced place, money to eat food. Thank you for the shout out on my earrings. I appreciate you. And you could actually afford to work a job that helps people, like rapping or doing a community service organization or something like piano, anything that would bring people happiness and help people. And then they could actually have money and then try to work toward making money off their art. Not everyone makes money off their art. I'm really fortunate that I make all my money off my art. Some people can't even do that. And if we had universal basic income, people could follow their dreams and actually help society. But no one wants to do that. And, during the pandemic, we've seen what the results of not wanting to do that are.
Yeah, I think pretty much anyone that comes on this show tends to be a supporter of UBI. And if they're not a supporter before the show, they might be a supporter afterwards.
Awesome.
We're very good at winning people over to our cause.
Well, we try. Yeah, it's one of those. I started supporting UBI because I researched it with the intent to prove it wrong. I was basically free money for everyone. This is the dumbest idea I've ever heard. I researched it with the intent of proving it wrong, And the more that I researched it, the more that I realized, wait, this is actually a good idea.
It kills
which was a bit of humble pie for me to eat. It was a wee bit of humble pie. But I'm really glad that I did. You shouldn't let your feelings get in the way of basic good reason.
And we all should be more open to changing our opinions. There were so many things I had opinions on that were really bad. My boyfriend's a socialist. I didn't want to accept that. I didn't want to acknowledge it. But my boyfriend's Norwegian, and his mom basically goes blind all the time because of an eye disease. And because of socialism, she can get surgery every few years so she can kind of see again, right? And the surgery costs usually at least $80,000 in cash. And the Norwegian government pays for the entire surgery, all the travel expenses, all the food expenses, the hotels, everything. So when I was looking at socialism, I was oh, it's bad. But then when I saw the things it can do for people who are in need and people who are elderly and people who they're handicapped, it can help so many different people. And just to open your eyes to anything like that, UBI, just basically socialist rights and healthcare countries that the socialist countries that have the healthcare where it's free, all of that, just seeing it and understanding what the significance is and trying to change our opinions on it really can help, I think.
Well, my opinion is that universal basic income, universal basic healthcare, stuff like that isn't really socialism. It's a human right.
No, but I'm saying exactly, and I'm saying socialist in quotes because that's how people call him. And I'd say, oh, he's a socialist, but he just believes in human rights. Because why should someone whose mom is on a dialysis thing who can't afford it end up dying because they can't afford dialysis? So it's so messed up.
I
was actually also. Oh, go ahead, Jason.
Oh, I said we have the technology and to extend a life. So it should be, you should have that right to have your life extended if you want to have it extended.
Yes.
Now, if you choose to die of dialysis, then that's your choice. If you choose not to fight cancer, that's your choice. If you choose, I'm getting into that whole organ-assisted suicide thing, but
Yeah, I was also going to say that I would call Norway a far cry from socialism. But I am completely also for. Yeah, I'm completely also for a single payer, just universal healthcare system. I think that our society would be better if we included that in our social contracts. Right now we're kind of stuck in the middle of the worst of both worlds, where right now, like, what you want, like, traditionally speaking, like, think 100 years ago and past, right? What you'd want is a free market where you go, all right, hey, doc, I need you to take a look at my teeth. How much is this going to cost? Hey, doc, I need a liver transplant. How much is that going to cost, right? And, like, they just tell you, and then you go, all right, cool. I'm going to go with you, or, oh, no, I'm going to go with the guy down the street, right? And we don't have that transparency right now. A lot of people think, like, oh, the free market is flawed. Capitalism is automatically evil. It's like, well, no, they work the way that they're designed to work. And in the case of medical, we don't even come close to having a free market, right? But I think a free market is kind of a flawed foundation of a system for medicine in the first place, because, like, you're not looking up which hospitals are best when you're in the back of an ambulance, right?
You can't.
Hospital beds. My heart's gonna stop beating, and I'm just gonna look it up.
I think we would just, as a society, really be benefited from just adding that to our social contract. And so I'm all for, like, change what we have right now, because right now we're basically in, like, the worst spot possible. If we went this way, that'd be better. If we went that way, it'd be better. But we got to change what we got for our medical system.
It's kind of like you're that kid that's, like, standing outside the pet shop window, and you can see all these pets that you want to take home with you and take care of and, like, nurture and everything, but your parents, like, say no. But yet you see all these kids walking in with their parents and, getting it, who are more affluent and have more money and stuff like that. Or that the pet shop is a horrible analogy. It should have been a toy store. But
nah, it's all right, man. All right, so actually, if you're all right with switching away from politics for a little bit, I'd love to ask you about, like, the procedure that you go through when you decide to write a new song. Or actually, if you would prefer to talk about it, like, what do you do as the producer of the show that you mentioned?
My podcast show?
So, yeah, you said you're a producer for a show.
Yeah, I am a producer for my podcast show, ARW.
Okay.
I also produce a lot of other stuff. We can go into that later. I, as the producer of my ARW Raw show, which is my podcast that everyone can go and find on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, I love to talk to interesting people. I love to get people's opinions, just like you guys, and I love to have an open forum discussion. The reason why I decided to start this podcast was honestly because people said they love my voice, that they think my voice is really soothing. I don't agree, but people think that, so let them think that. That's fine. It makes me money. I don't care.
We as Jews, there are just, people who fetishize our voices for some reason. I have no clue
Jews,
why.
they fetishize Auschwitz. But I just wanted to start my own podcast because some people said I should. And I have so many friends who are celebrities or people of notability. So I've been just running it since December every week. And I've had so many interesting guests. I work as the producer and the host and the editor and the marketer / social media head. Basically the executive producer of everything. So I come up with who I want to talk to that week. Like who could talk this week? Like this week on my podcast, I had Paris Hilton's best friend, Ansh, who's one of my really good friends. And he talked all about her new documentary, about how he's designing masks to help people vote and talk about voter accessibility, all sorts of interesting stuff. So I had him on the show, right? So like every week I'll have someone interesting who's different and who is a part of the fashion or entertainment or politics or music or any world like that, like art or like free thought worlds, right? And I have people talk about whatever they want. We just have like sort of an open-ended discussion for an hour or so. And running this podcast really taught me that I am really good at like running a show, speaking publicly, being able to compose myself in really interesting situations and being able to just be confident in myself and really be able to give my message to the world. And thank you for saying good for me, because I definitely think it's good for me and for everyone else, because it allows me to talk about a lot of things I'd like to discuss with my fans and with everyone. And my listenership is at about 3,000 listeners now a week. I'm really trying to grow it a lot, but I'm just really excited, and it's really awesome to be able to host people like that. And I would love to put it into a video format eventually, once things are back to normal in quotes. But for now, it's just audio. And to answer your second question, I also make a lot of content on my YouTube. Everyone go subscribe to Amanda Rome West YouTube channel, and my music channel on YouTube, and my music on all platforms. And everything's up there. I do like music videos, I do blogs, I do reviews, I do products I'm sponsored by and tell people about them. I do all sorts of different things. But my songwriting process is completely and entirely different from all of them. My songwriting process is, right, I come up with the beat with my producer, with my main music producer. Then I get super fucking hammered.
Okay.
Then that's where the real creativity starts.
Pretty much like any writer, you get super hammered.
No, you can say you have the beat and you have what you want to talk about, right? So I have like a new song where I'm like, I'm actually writing a new song this weekend. So like, basically my boyfriend Jordan and I co-write a lot of my music. I write a lot of my music myself. I also write it with my music producer, Lucas. Shout out Lucas Lasone. And when it's just me, honestly, I just like have to understand where all the parts of the song are, right? So like you have like the intro, you have like the hook, you have verse 1, hook, verse 2, hook, verse 3, hook, outro, let's say for a song, right? So I first understand how many syllables there are. Then I go on Rhyme Zone and see what rhymes. Then I tap into my Jewish knowledge base, aka my childhood in my head.
Sure.
And then I use that to write the songs. So for example, like, you know, for Jewish shit, like since you know that song, you know, bitch, I'm hella hard Jewish, like, oh my God, everybody saying, damn girl, how'd you get that bod? So you just gotta like tap into your experiences and be like, how do I express the people always say I got a hot bod and then you're Jewish? You're like, you're Jewish. So like I have to, you know, incorporate that into like a phrase. So like it's sometimes hard to like incorporate like experiences or like, you know, places I've been or things I've done into a phrase. But, you know, as Thug Jubich, which is like my alter ego, I just kind of, I don't know, it's not even like multiple personalities. It's just kind of like my other side of me. And I just like tap into it. I don't even know how to describe it. Like it's like a zone. Like, I don't know if you've seen Agretsuko, but it's like my Agretsuko zone, you know?
How many people would you say are involved in making a song before you eventually share it with others? You know, like share it with before it's released. There we go. How many people would you say are involved?
In the past, like 10, currently 3.
Okay.
Because I've just streamlined it to be like, fuck it, I want to make my own money. I'm not going to just give all my percentages to all these random fucking people. I don't, no offense to the people I've written songs with in the past, the people who've been on my team in the past. But, you know, there are a lot of greedy motherfuckers out there. And there's a lot of people who they want to be like, oh, you know, I want to be your director for your music videos. Or, oh, I want to be your, you know, manager. Or I want to produce for you or whatever they want to say. But at the end of the day, I know I'm the only one who's going to get the job done like that. Having my business degree, having my creativity, having my ADHD, having my talent, tapping into what I do. You know, and I'm really excited because I'm rebranding with this girl who has actually run some of the biggest brands in LA, and just taking my website to the next level and doing new merchandise. As I mentioned earlier, like taking everything to the next level with my music videos. I have a lot coming up that you guys are gonna love. I have a 70s one dropping on my birthday, so I'm really excited. And I just have a lot of stuff like in the pipeline, and I just think like, you know, as someone who's 22. Almost 23, shout out Scorpio season. I definitely think that it's important to set goals for yourself in your life. So like a lot of people spend their youth just like partying, getting hammered, like fucking all these random dudes. Like I have a plan for myself. Like I want to be a mom, I want to be a wife, I want to be like a producer, I want to be a rapper, I want to be a creator, I want to be a podcaster. Like I have these goals set and I actively work towards them. And it's allowing me to basically live off of my music and live off of my content. And I'm planning on taking it to the whole next level. And I'm just ready to embrace everything and just, you know, do it. And thank you to everyone in the comments who's saying, you know, do I write my own lyrics? And that you're impressed that I write my own lyrics. Because yeah, I fucking do. And my shit takes me a long time to write. I was never a musically inclined person. You know, my vocal coach also coaches a lot of celebrities like Meghan Trainor, big YouTubers, you know, some people from American Idol, like a lot of big people. And her main tip to me was like, just sing and just rap. Like just, you have this voice, you have to use it and you have to be confident. You can't just be like, I told my bitch here in the belly. You have to go hard. You can't just like sit there and be like, you know, just thinking like, you know, someone else is gonna do it for you. You have to put in all the work for yourself.
Yeah. I think that's very, very much an entrepreneurial mindset that you have, which is something yeah, it's one of the things that I can respect most about a person. You got a question from Sue again. When is your birthday?
November 6th! Woo!
1 month away.
So I wanted to ask, you did those two MTV Snapchat shows. What was it like about doing the format of the Snapchat like TV show, like that mobile show?
Okay, so let me lay it on you as the otter says in Animal Crossing. And you only get that if you play Animal Crossing.
I have no idea what the hell Animal Crossing is.
What? You gotta be kidding me.
It's a popular video game, Jason.
Jason.
It's a very peaceful, generally popular video game. It's not a violent one.
It's a peaceful villager game.
Yeah, we do 2K, so.
What was the question? You're asking about MTV shows.
Yeah,
so
like what was it like? I know the traditional format of a TV show and everything, and how that filming for that works. But like being on a show, as far as like that's built for mobile content, like Snapchat. That's that's something that's still a little foreign to me.
I mean, no. So I shot this in 2018 when Snapchat was at its height, and that's when I had my first 200,000 followers on Snapchat. So Snapchat's where I got famous ever since I was like 18, 19. And I was on my first TV show in 2018 when I was 20. It was called Parental Guidance. It was with Vertical Networks and Snapchat and MTV. And it was my mom going on Tinder and choosing my boyfriend for me, my date or whatever. So like all these guys knew me because I'm internet famous. So they were like, "Are you Amanda Rome West? Are you Thug Jew bitch?" So they like knew me already. So then the producers were like, "Oh shit, they already know her." They're like talking in the walkie-talkie. They're like, "They already know her. Cut these people." So they had to find someone that like didn't know who I was. And I went back and forth with them like on TV, like on the show. And then I went back for a second episode and went in for a date. So like I put on like a pink wig, like I did really crazy makeup, and I was like talking in like an accent. So I was like trying to troll this dude. And it went so viral. Like it was supposed to be like we met up at a bar for a date, even though I was like underage. It was just like water or whatever. And it was like in the morning, and they made us pretend at night and you're drinking, blah, 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 all this stuff. And it's like we straight up just sat there, and he's like, "What do you like to do?" And I was like, "I like to rap." And it just like triggered this dude. Like it was, you could see his face. He was like, "Ah!" He was like scared to be there. And it was so funny. So like that show went really viral. It was crazy because the guy was just like so freaked out by me. And like that was kind of my goal. Like I just want to make it go viral for my first song release. And that's when I got my first 9 million views. So I made a video right after that where I pretended to get a face tattoo. This is the first time I've ever said this publicly. I pretended to get a face tattoo in my friend's tattoo shop for this Facebook video, and it went so viral. I was the homepage of Reddit for a week.
Wow. All right. So
another website I don't know how to use.
Then they tapped me to do True Life Dying to Be Cardi B. So my manager at the time was making me do like an Andy Kaufman thing / like Sacha Baron Cohen. So I would talk like this. That's like how I would talk. Like there was no video of me talking like in my normal voice, like for like 2 years. Needless to say, like it caused a lot of concern. But like basically I just had to like talk in this voice because what my manager at the time wanted. And it was like the show was basically them trying to portray me as a Jewish girl trying to be a black person. And it was like, it didn't work at all. Like they kept trying to say like, "Oh, are you pretending to be ghetto?" They kept saying that to me. And I would just stand there and be like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And so I like made the footage so unusable that they couldn't even put the show out.
Honestly,
that would have done that with the Kardashians.
On national television, international television, I
Right.
am not about to be exposed. So I kept up my act. I was like acting. I was completely acting. We filmed in LA at my apartment. We filmed at my family's house. They were like, does she talk like this? I was like, yeah, I talk like this. And they were like, yeah, she talks like that. They were just like, they just went along with it. Like even my grandma, like even my 90-year-old Jewish grandma. And like those were the first two big shows I was on. Right now I'm in progress of a really, really big show and I can't say yet, but it's filming pretty soon. And I just had a crazy show on Facebook with this makeup influencer who straight up to my face said I'm like trash at makeup. So I was like, fuck you, bitch.
All right.
My TV career so far.
Yeah. Speaking of, Sue's coming in hot with the questions. Amanda, do you find being a woman in the entertainment business challenging?
Oh my God, do I? I do. It is.
Yeah, so like I said, I've been around LA. I'm just gonna chip in. LA is probably not the most respectful place in the United States to women.
LA is horrible to women.
Yeah.
Is there a reason I don't walk outside my house? I mean, let me rephrase this. I don't walk outside my apartment complex without my boyfriend. Yes, because let me tell you, first like Pierce and Jason just said, on a basic level of disrespect in LA, these men just like hit that level. Like they just love to say shit to you, be like, damn girl, when you're walking down the street. They love to like try to touch your arm. Like this guy when I was I like used to go on like hikes by myself in Runyon. And now I only go with my boyfriend on the days where he works from home because like these people, they'll like they'll like reach out to touch me and they're like, hey, you're hot. And it's like, don't do that. Don't do that. If anything, I will pepper spray or tase you. Don't do that to me. And I do carry around pepper spray and a taser, just for everyone to know.
No,
it's a hard place for women because also they will judge you hard as shit if you're not like this small, blonde, and like Christian. So even as just like a Jewish outspoken woman, it's really hard. And even in my days at USC, like so many people bullied me. They'd be like, who the fuck do you think you are? You're like this little Jewish nobody bitch. Like sit down, you're nobody. And like this guy straight up said this to me in a class. And the teacher was like, actually, you're nobody because you don't even have any good ideas and you don't even do anything online to showcase yourself. At least this girl's going for it. And that shut him right up. So people who say that type of shit to me, I'm like, fuck you. You don't even do half the shit I do. To answer Sue's question, it definitely is hard to be a woman in the entertainment business and it is challenging. But as long as you don't care what people think of you and you just keep going, that's all that matters. And you stay you and you stay true to who you are and it will all work out.
Los Angeles has always struck me as like this city that is just completely ass backwards because it builds itself on like the personification of women and how it builds itself on how they look and what they do and just making women like larger than life, while at the same time while behind the scenes it has the ability to make women feel like so small and so horrible about themselves. I mean, it's a place where like the most beautiful women from like every state come to. They like just congregate there, and like the amount of self-esteem that city has the ability to take out of women is just absolutely insane. Like because they've spent their entire lives being told that they're amazing, which they are. They're amazing creatures, and they come there and just like have producers and everyone just like suck the life out of them and suck their self-esteem out of them.
Suck your soul out. And like,
it's just insane.
Honestly, the amount of times people have asked me to suck their dick is like ridiculous. Like, it's like, why do you think I would do that? Like, I come from such like a well-respected family, and like I have money and like I have talent, like from my own self. Like I don't need. Like, I'm cut off. I pay for myself. Like, I'm 22, and, like, I pay fully for myself. And, like, not a lot of people can say that. And I think that it's really disrespectful when someone tries to approach you and be like, oh, if you do this shit for me, or, like, you sex me, or suck my dick, or whatever it is, I'll move you up. Because, first of all, no, they won't. They're just saying that to get you to do whatever they want. And second of all, they're just saying that because they want the power over you. And, like, I can proudly say I've never been in a situation where I've, like, done anything like that. I've always been like, that is disgusting. Like, I will never be working for you again. Like, I've been in so many situations like that. And I think there's so many women who allow themselves to be treated like that just because they're so desperate for their, one shot or their like big break or whatever they want to, or whatever you want to call it. And like, Thank you to Sue in the comments for saying I'm smart, because I definitely think that as women, we need to better educate ourselves, especially for just other women and watching out for everyone. Because before this podcast, actually, this makes me really sad. A family friend of mine got kidnapped, apparently, and they're now looking for a body. So
Oh, wow.
it's really hard to wrap my head around, and it's really hard to see. But I can believe it because, unfortunately, you know, when a girl is sheltered or when the parents don't want to teach them the ways of the world or like tell them like you need to be careful, something's gonna happen. Or like if even if the parents tell the girl that and she just wants her shot so bad, or she wants to be the celebrity, and like they'll tell you anything that they can to get you in their car
Yeah.
and kidnap you or whatever it is. It's just so sad to see these people be tricked or see them be taken at against their will. And it's so many more women than you would think that this happens to. Like a girl I had on my podcast was held hostage for 2 years in a shed. There's a lot more women who have been in situations than we want to admit, I think.
That is terrifying. I actually, in high school, applied to a talent agency, and they met with me, and I interviewed or whatever. And I was shocked at how friendly is not the right word, at how much they were trying to recruit me. All right, they were like, yeah, we could use you as a model, we can use you as an actor. And I'm thinking, all right, so obviously, like, I think enough of myself that I applied to you, but I don't think I'm the next, like, Harrison Ford or anything here. And I was like, you should not be trying to persuade me to join you this hard. Right, like it should be me trying to persuade you.
It's a money-making scheme. A lot of talent agencies are. If they're about getting the money for the headshots, they're about getting the money for your first reel. They're about getting the money for this and that.
Right, exactly.
And they're about taking that to 25% commission.
Yeah, so
they actually do book you on something.
Right. So yeah, as a high schooler, I mean, that told me like, all right, you guys are just looking to push as much content or whatever like shit out there and just see what sticks and take the commission, right? Like you don't give a shit about me, is what I could immediately tell. So like I stuck away with it, and like that wasn't even in LA, right? Like so I know just the stories, I guess I can say, like you're not the first one to be sharing them of that kind. Earlier you mentioned that you were rebranding yourself. So does that mean like you're ditching the Jewish bitch as your persona, or what?
No,
are you concerned with being a Jewish singer as like holding you back or limiting yourself from mainstream? Like what's tell me what you're doing.
Mainstream. Fuck the mainstream. I don't give a fuck. I only live once, and like honestly, my boyfriend and I talk about this all the time. Like, completely like delete everything and then become like this like Christian looking girl and like whatever. It's like, I have a nose job. I could do that if I wanted to, but like I don't want to. Like I just don't. There's no reason for me to do that. And a lot of people do say that, like, oh, do you wish you could take everything you've done back? Do you wish you could just be like a normal person who could work in a business, or like do you wish you could like do all these like other things, like be an agent or be like this or that? And it's like, I wouldn't take any of the shit I've done back. And like by rebranding, I mean that I'm redoing my website, I'm doing a new line of merch, I'm redoing my content guidelines, I'm redoing my entire just like public image, like of what I put out, like the type of stuff I put out. But it's the same theme, like bad bitch, like thug bitch, girl gang vibe.
So,
like
so it's more. Yeah, so it's more like upgrading rather than rebranding, is what it sounds like.
Upgrade. That's what like the rebranding, right? But like it's more of an upgrade and more just like going to the next level, which is like the next production level, like the next, merchandise level, the next website level, and just taking it to the next level and getting it there. Because the most successful people are the most niche people. Look at Gaga. People saw her as like super niche, super genre, super like, oh, no one's ever gonna like her. She looks like a tranny with a huge nose or whatever they want to say about her. But like honestly, she's one of the biggest stars now. So I'm like, who's to say? I totally agree. It's a safer bet to like be more universal or whatever. But fuck that. That's gone out the window since '97 when I was born, motherfucker.
What musicians
jumped on Gaga's disco stick, and I haven't looked back since.
Yeah. What musicians inspire you?
Wait, repeat that. Wait, sorry.
Oh, what I
That
said?
again.
Or what Pierce said?
No, what you said.
Oh, I said I totally jumped on Gaga's disco stick, and I've rode that thing ever since. Like, I haven't turned back.
Me too. I've not heard back. Yeah.
So, Amanda, what musicians inspire you?
So obviously, Lady Gaga. We just talked about. I love Lady Gaga. I love Halsey. I fucking love Drake. And the reason why I love all these people, right, is because they're people who spent their whole life on the fringe and being so bullied and being so hated on, like how I spent a lot of my life. Like, I don't know if I talked about this. I haven't really talked about this all on this podcast, but like a lot of people used to bully me and be like, "Oh, you're crazy. You're so weird. Like, what's wrong with you?" Like, you know, just because I'm an artist, they wanted to like shame me, and almost, especially from DC and like going to all girls school and everything with like a uniform and really strict. They wanted to always be like, "You're the one who's the problem. Like, you're the one who stands out. Like, you need to step in line. Like, you're the one who's different, and you're the one who's messing things up or whatever." But because I push people's boundaries and I push their, you know, beliefs, and that's exactly what Lady Gaga, Halsey, and Drake do. They all were really bullied and really oppressed until one day it was their big break after they'd been working for like 10 years on their music, and boom, everyone loves them. So I'm like, that's what I'm here for, you know, like I'm just rapping about my experience, I'm singing about my experiences, I'm making my brand about my life, and people seem to clearly just relate to it. And like, I always want to be that person, like Sue just said in the comments, you know, Lady Gaga meeting her in the bathroom at a nice restaurant and she's being nice and friendly. You know, that's how I am to my fans. Like when I see my fans in public, I am really sweet to them. They ask me for a photo or to sign their arm or whatever, I will do it. I'm not the type of person who's like, "Oh no, like you got to pay for that." Like I want to be so close with my fans so that they feel like they are a part of my life. And I just feel so lucky to be able to be doing this. And like, I have had thoughts like you're saying, Pierce, about like, oh, you know, rebrand, right? I'll be this like universal American girl singer, right? But just think about it. How many of those are there? A million. A dime a dozen. There's like a million of those people. How many other Jewish female rappers have you heard of?
Yeah, finding a niche as a business is just much more likely to be successful.
No.
You know, like finding a niche is just a far more likely successful business. You might not make it, say, as big as the next Facebook or as big as the next Lady Gaga, but you are much, much more likely to just be successful rather than get nothing. Well, for sure. Like that is classic entrepreneurship, you know, business sense. Find a niche. So
my friend he's a musician out of Nashville, and I met him when I was there in college and everything like that. He said said the smartest thing he ever heard was from Rick Ocasek, who did his first mainstream album. He said the rule of 1,000. If you can get 1,000 fans who are absolutely rabid over who you are and what you do, you will never have to work another day in your life. All you need is 1,000 rabid fans who will consume everything that you put out, and you'll never have to work another day in your life. So
yeah, because it's not just those 1,000; it's all the people that they tell and talk about, and and just all the other people that they connect with as well.
I hope everyone watching this can support me like that, because I'd be so grateful, and I just love my fans so much. Like I'm just a really genuine person. Like everyone who is my fan always tells me, they're like, I just can't believe you're so real. Like obviously I get like millions and millions of DMs. And, like I miss a lot of them because they refresh and then a month later a lot of them delete. But like when I can get back to people, I do, and people really appreciate that from me because I am just such a real person. And like I'll take down my Cameo prices, for example, if someone's my fan but they're like living almost on the street, like they have no money. Like it's not like I'm gonna no, you can pay $50 for a video from me. Like I want to be real with my fans, and I love my Westies, and it just means the world to me that I can inspire people. Like I've had people come up to me and be like, literally, you are the reason I did not call myself. Like I watch your videos every day, every night. Like I watch you all the time. Like you help me be myself, and it helps me so much. And it just makes me so happy to be able to be this badass rapper bitch, but also be at the same time, really fun. And Sue was saying, down to earth in the comment section. I try to be down to earth, and that's just who I am. Genuinely, that's who I am. But I try to get that to come across because you can get kind of lost in the glamour and the glitz and the lights, camera, action of Hollywood of my brand. So it's hard. And being in a relationship with someone who's been in Tarantino movies and a lot of big stuff, it's kind of like, you know, you feel like you're just in this world where it's like all these intersecting fandoms, and it's like crazy just to be a part of that. And it's interesting to see dating my boyfriend Jordan, because the way people react to me is on another level now. They're like, wow, like you really are out here doing it, because he and I do projects together too. And like we did like all these vlogs called Love Lockdown for COVID, and like we had COVID and like doing things during lockdown and seeing how everything is. And like it's just really interesting to be able to give people actual perspectives and experiences online and be able to spread my message like this and like just do it out of my apartment. I mean, it's so crazy that we can do that these days. Like you're in New York, you're in Oklahoma, I'm in LA, and we're making it happen. It's like,
yeah,
it's almost like magic, you know, if you look back from 50 years ago.
Well,
then I'll be back in LA.
Props to you for honestly, like I said, being an entrepreneur. You know, that's always something that I find commendable and respectable. And thanks, Sue. You're absolutely one of the best audience members I could ask for. And Amanda, thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me, Pierce and Jason.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Anytime.
Yeah, I hope you continue to add positivity to the world with your music and make that bright spot in the world. So with that, everyone, thank you for joining us for an episode of Growth with Tacos. Hope you join us next week. Take care.